I'm involved in many ways as a campaigner and now as the local MP in North Northumberland, with serving military personnel, their families and with veterans of all ages, for whom the Covenant's pledge has not always been a reality. I am acutely conscious of the fact that whilst many citizens agree with the Covenant's ideals and direction, far too many aren't really aware of it, nor do they consider how they can make it a reality in their working lives, nor how their local community might be able to support the needs of military people and their loved ones. I'm also aware that many of our serving and veteran personnel are not fully appraised of the commitment this Covenant gives to them and their families. The Covenant's commitment to all who have served in our armed forces is clear, that they and their families should face no disadvantage compared to other citizens in the provision of public and commercial services. Special consideration is appropriate, especially for those who have given most, such as the injured and the bereaved. The latest Covenant report, published in December, highlights the work that the King's College for Military Health Research Study is doing, looking at mental health problems developed in armed forces personnel who served in Iraq and in Afghanistan. But there seems to be little focus on the needs of those who fought in conflicts from the 1980s and 1990s, in the Falklands, in Northern Ireland, in the Balkans, who are now starting to be hit by deep-rooted traumas coming to the fore. Combat Stress is one of our older charities who do extraordinary work with mental health complexity, not really dealt with at all by the mainstream NHS support systems. They are absolutely at capacity all the time, and too often veterans who have really hit a deep hole are unable to access the complex and intense therapies needed to rebuild their shattered minds. But in the short term, we cannot fail those veterans for whom the Armed Forces Covenant was intended, those who need proper long-term mental health care treatment now. Colleagues have much to say on this matter, and I hope that the Minister will support us as we campaign for the right care programmes across the UK for these veterans. This year has seen a hugely welcomed new Covenant commitment, with widows, widowers and surviving civil partners now able to retain their pensions for life, regardless of whether they remarry or not. Many constituents of mine have commented on their gratitude to the Prime Minister for making this decision, as it allows bereaved family members to move forwards with their lives, with their family and with renewed hope. And we would like to really put that on record, that this was a really excellent decision. I've read all 4 Covenant reports which our Defence Secretaries have published since 2011. And it's very clear that really good progress is made year on year. But I'm also conscious of the fact that many people, including our military personnel, past and present, are not as aware as really we want them to be, and I think the Covenant principles want them to be, of what the principles and the efforts are going on to actually really change the way our nation feels and behaves towards our armed forces personnel. So I believe it's our duty to help to encourage wider participation in the Covenant. My challenge to myself is that by the end of this government, our whole nation thinks Covenant in their daily lives. I hope that colleagues from all corners of the UK and of every political colour will join with us in building a nation which has at its heart, in every sphere of our lives, a deep understanding and practice of the moral obligation to our armed forces. We are free to live our lives as we wish in this great nation of ours, thanks to the unstinting and total commitment of all those military personnel who've stood and stand ready to defend us now in the face of dangers so many as yet unknown. Thank you.